UC Santa Cruz would kick Monster University's ass! That is, if we actually gave a shit about football, and if Monster University was a real place and not the name of a movie. A movie that we're going to talk about right now. And yes, in case you haven't noticed, I have crowns. But anyway, on with the review. Monsters University is Pixar's first attempt at a prequel, and is a prequel to the 2001 classic Monsters, Inc. It's the story about how Mike Wazowski basically met Sully, voiced by Billy Crystal and John Goodman respectively, and how they became best friends by the time Monsters, Inc. takes place, and they're doing this at the school Monsters University. Before I get into my thoughts on how I feel about the movie, let me say, there was a point in Pixar's career where they could make masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece. Every movie they made, with the exception of Cars, was amazing, if not perfect. Toy Story, WALL-E, Bugs Life, Incredibles, you name it. After the release of Cars 2, however, something happened where Pixar just didn't make the spectacular movies they once made. Cars 2 was their first and thankfully only bad movie. And no, Planes does not count. That's Disney Toons, not Pixar. That's right, I have to review that too. Last year's Brave was really good, and on my old channel, it made it into my top 10 list of favorite movies of 2012, so yeah. That being said, it was not as strong as many of Pixar's other efforts. And the same thing can be said about Monsters University. The problems that this movie have aren't really big problems, but in terms of Pixar standards, they aren't particularly thought out. There are a few jokes that get repeated from the first movie that don't seem to work all that much. Although I will say there's one joke in the trailer that I thought no one's going to laugh at this. But there's a payoff to that joke in the movie that made me laugh. I won't say what it is, but you could probably take a guess what that joke is in the trailer. Also, given the fact that this is a prequel, the biggest job of a prequel is trying to come up with ideas that will surprise the audience, because with a prequel, we all know where it's going to end. There were recurring trends in other college movies, like Animal House, that I didn't really care for all that much, and the basic plot of the movie had me going, wait a minute, I've seen this from somewhere. I mean, it's just all too familiar. But the movie is not bad at all. It gets more right than wrong. It's just not to Pixar standards. It's really fun to see Pixar take on a college setting, and given that I just finished my first year at UC Santa Cruz, there were a lot of in-jokes that made me laugh. Because they reminded me of times at UC Santa Cruz. One thing that I really liked was there's a group of monsters sitting on a field. One of them's playing the guitar and is singing. And immediately I thought, oh my god, it's my friend! So that made me laugh. And to my friend out there, if you're watching this review, you know who you are. And that monster reminded me so much of you, with the guitar, singing. Yeah. There were other in-jokes that did make me laugh, and some regular jokes are funny as well that non-college people would find funny. Like the Toy Story sequels, it's really great to see our favorite characters back again, including some new characters with really unique designs. That's one thing I've always admired about this movie and Monsters, Inc., was the designs of the characters and how cool they looked. One thing I also appreciate is, much like how Toy Story came at a time when its audience are teenagers and have the choice to get rid of their toys, Monsters University came out at a time when its same audience are either entering college, in the middle of college, or ending college. One thing I really love about this movie is the message. Now, it requires spoiling the end of the movie, but really, this is a prequel to Monsters, Inc., so I don't want any commenters or I don't want anyone saying, oh, you spoiled the movie. I don't want you trolls just doing it just to be dicks. So, just, if you really, really consider this spoiling, then tune out. The message of the movie is that even though you work your damnedest to try to get to what you love, you're probably not going to get it in the end. However, the movie also says because of that, it should not stop you from being a great person and should not stop you from surprising people. It's a risky message that chances are other studios would probably not address. And given this is the same studio that made a movie about robots where the first half had little to no dialogue, Pixar knows what they're doing at times. Well, except Cars 2. Even though Monsters University does not have the same magic that early Pixar films had, or even the same charm and creativity that the original had, it's still a really enjoyable movie that I don't think anyone will leave disappointed. So it's a good movie, but it lacks the Pixar charm, so it's not a great movie. But it's still good. It's not quite Monsters, Inc., but it's not Cars 2, so we're good there. So that's my review for Monsters University. Leave a comment, subscribe, tell your friends about me, check out my old channel, AlexG8462, and I will see you guys later. Bye.